life you get strange things being made out of ordinary household objects, i.e. you get computers in the shape of Viking longships, obviously you get cars in the shape of sofas. This, of course, as you know, is a vacuum cleaner in the shape of a table. This is the Bylock table vac. This is its after video. Let me show you what I've done with it. It doesn't look a lot, I'll be honest. If you saw the before video, yeah, there's only so much you can do with something like this. Let me tell you what I have and haven't done. Yes, hello my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today? Yes, there's not a great deal that I could do with the outside of this. I mean, as I'm sure you may have noticed, I am not a trained, experienced cabinet maker, so it has been cleaned and polished. I've given it a bit of a beeswax, but equally I haven't stained the feet because there is a very high chance that I would make it worse than it already is. You know, I haven't refinished the sides, so there are still a couple of scratches. I'm trying not to put any weight on the pivots because I had to glue the feet back on as well. And yeah, there's only, you know, so much you can do with this. I didn't want to ruin the top because I'd have to get it French polished, and it just didn't need that much work. The work it needed really went on inside. As you can see, this has glued up an absolute treat. If you watch Mr. Hooverlux, let's just put some light on it, there we go, look. If you watch Mr. Hooverlux, he had one of these and I saw it as well. His was split completely in two, so he had to bolt it, sadly. Luckily mine was just a big crack, so with wood glue and clamping it for a couple of weeks, I wouldn't want to lean on it, but it holds the lid up absolutely fine. Under here we have all of the tools. They washed up very nicely indeed. So we have our wands, we'll need those. Have our floor tool, we'll take that out as well. And yeah, apart from that, it was all filthy, I'll be honest. These clips were ever so grubby underneath. In here we've got the hose. I've done a good clean up by hand because you can't put one of those hoses through the washing machine. We have our cable with, and I don't think that was the plug that was on it when we started. I think I might have put that on there. We have our flex, all nice and clean again. And yeah, it all looks exactly the same. We don't have our filter fitted. That's because, well, it's very airflow restricting. So instead, what we have is, I have HEPA flowed it. Oh yes, indeed. So we don't really need this anyway, and it's only in there, so it doesn't get lost. Oh, let's put. In fact, we don't want to put the lid down, do we? Because the on-off switch is under the lid. What a silly design. What I want to do is move all the wires around and plug it into here. When we can lift the lid, and note that it does sound very similar. Let's get the hose installed. It's such an awkward thing to film because I can't get everything in the same place. There we go. We'll put the hose on, put the wand together, put the floor tool on, and wow, it still vacuums. The only thing is, it doesn't have much suction. I mean, it has some, but objectively its suction is fairly terrible. So, and this isn't just this machine again, speaking to Mr. Hooverlock, his isn't much better either. I think it's just due to the wood. The wood's obviously porous enough. All the rubber seals around the entire machine are good. I didn't redo them because they cleaned up and went back to quite nice rubber. So I think sadly it just sort of proves as to why these probably weren't that popular. I mean, it'll do it. You know, it's not as if it has nothing, but coupled with this pretty terrible floor tool, I dare to do my laminate too much because this has no brushes on it at all. It almost justifies a bit of an old saying, which is, you know, don't meet your heroes. Now, I wouldn't call the Bylock table vac so much a hero of mine, certainly for collecting. I've known they've existed. I thought they are pretty flipping cool. I mean, someone's put a table in a vacuum cleaner. No, other way around. Someone's made a table out of a vacuum cleaner or put a vacuum cleaner in a table. That's pretty cool. And it is. Do not underestimate how, you know, interesting and one-off this is. But it's not very good. And there are many ways you could make it better. I mean, you could take out the little tiny asthmatic, well, it's a massive motor, but it's only like 300 watts, 300 watts of power. And you stick a 2300 watt meter motor in there, well, that might improve things. But the problem is that this machine is only as cool as it is because it's a vacuum cleaner in a table. If you start, oh, I don't know which way that goes now. If you start ripping things out of it and, you know, putting different motors in it and X, Y and Z, you're very quickly going to ruin what makes this quite a special thing. And even when you've got your 2200 watt Dyson motor or Miele motor or whatever in this machine, it's still a massive box on wheels. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I cannot say don't do it because, hey, it would be quite fun. But you would ruin, oh gosh, what's going on there? A lot of what makes this pretty cool, which is just that it is a product of its time. And yeah, there's not a whole lot left really for me to show you because it's going to be terrible on stairs. I'm not even going to attempt to try and make a little bit of funny B-roll of balancing this on the steps because if it tumbles down and smashes, I am for it. It's a bit loose as it is, and that's because one of these wheels is missing a couple of its ball bearings, so it's a little bit wobbly. So yeah, not very good for the stairs. Wouldn't want to use it on the car. Don't want to use it on the laminate. Yeah, the Bylock table vac, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a machine that I'm very glad that we have had on this channel, but probably not one that I'm going to go for again unless I see one very cheap, very locally. Then we might hack it about and see what we can do. But it would have to be one in quite poor condition anyway, because I wouldn't want to do it to a decent looking one. And what are the chances of one coming along that's not quite decent anyway? So yeah, there we go, really. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and but probably not this Bylock table vac, will see you soon. Bye bye.